Okay, so you sent over this report on the hidden costs of coffee production in Eastern Africa.
Yeah.
It's a pretty dense academic paper.
It is. It is a lot to unpack.
We're going to break it down for everyone today and really try to pull out those key recommendations.
Yeah, I think that's what's most important for people to really know. Like, what can we actually do with this information?
Exactly.
And
so we're really talking about what goes into that cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Every morning that we all enjoy, but beyond just the price we see at the store.
Exactly.
Yeah, and specifically we're talking about Ethiopia, Uganda, and Tanzania, right?
That's right, yeah. These are some of the biggest coffee-producing countries in the world, and coffee is a huge part of their economies. You know, millions of smallholder farmers really rely on this crop.
Yeah, it's their livelihood.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay, so let's talk about those hidden costs.
Okay.
What are we really talking about here?
So hidden costs are essentially all those social and environmental factors that traditional pricing ignores.
Okay.
So, you know, you go to the store, you see a price on a bag of coffee.
Right.
That price doesn't account for things like pollution from processing, the use of child labor, which is obviously a really difficult and terrible issue.
Yeah.
And the gap between what farmers earn and what's considered a living wage.
Right.
So all of those factors are kind of baked into your cup of coffee.
Right.
You don't see them on the price tag.
Right. Yeah. And I was blown away by some of the numbers in this report.
Yeah.
Saying that the true cost of East African coffee could be 60 to 300% higher than what the farmers actually get.
It's really shocking when you see it laid out like that.
That's huge.
You know, it's a massive difference.
Yeah.
And so the report breaks down those costs into a few key areas.
Okay, let's start with that living income gap.
Okay.
That seems to be a major factor.
Yeah.
Especially in Ethiopia.
It is. You know, it's really hard to imagine working tirelessly on a coffee farm and still not earning enough to afford like basic needs like food, housing, healthcare, education.
Right, the essentials.
Yeah, and that's the reality for many coffee farmers.
And then there's the issue of child labor.
Right, yeah.
That none of us really want to think about.
It's a tough one to talk about, but it's important to confront.
And the report, found significant amounts of child labor, especially on the larger farms. And then we also have to think about the environmental impact.
Yeah.
The climate cost of our coffee.
Right, so that's all the, greenhouse gas emissions that come from growing the coffee, processing it, transporting those beans across the globe.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing when you add it all up.
It really is.
The report also highlights some interesting findings about the different types of coffee beans. Robusta versus Arabica.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know there was a difference in their impact.
Yeah. So those cheaper Robusta beans, which are often used in instant coffee, they actually carry higher hidden costs than Arabica beans. And that's because the lower market price for Robusta kind of drives more unsustainable practices.
Oh, interesting.
Just to keep costs down.
Okay, so we've got this huge problem.
Yeah.
What does the report recommend that we do about it?
So the report lays out 4 key recommendations to address these hidden costs in the coffee industry.
Okay, and these apply to both the coffee-producing countries and those of us who are, the importers and the consumers of the final product.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so let's hear them.
Okay, so the first recommendation
What's number 1?
Is all about raising awareness. So educating consumers, policymakers, everyone in the coffee supply chain about the true environmental and social costs.
So it's about making these invisible costs visible.
Exactly. You can't change what you don't know about, right?
Right.
So the idea is that with greater awareness, there will be more pressure to find solutions.
Makes sense. Okay, what's the next recommendation?
Let's say there's a policy that aims to increase coffee farmers' income by setting a minimum price for coffee beans.
Okay.
That sounds like a good thing, right?
Right.
It could improve social sustainability by ensuring a living income for farmers.
Right.
But it could also lead to farmers clearing more land for coffee production to take advantage of those higher prices.
Which then leads to deforestation and environmental damage.
Yeah, so it's about thinking about those potential trade-offs.
So how do we address that then?
Well, that's where, smart policy making comes in.
Okay.
We need policies that consider these potential trade-offs and strive to achieve both social and environmental sustainability.
Right.
You can't just focus on one at the expense of the other.
It's all about that balance.
Yeah.
What's the third recommendation from the report?
The third recommendation calls on coffee importing countries.
So, us.
Yes, that's us.
Okay.
To really think carefully about the potential impacts that our policies here can have on coffee-producing nations.
So our actions here have ripple effects across the globe.
Absolutely, yeah. Our decisions have consequences.
Okay.
For instance, regulations that restrict the import of coffee that's grown with certain pesticides or fertilizers.
Okay.
That could be well-intentioned, right? We want to protect the environment.
Right.
But it could unintentionally hurt farmers in developing countries if they don't have access to alternative farming methods.
So again, it's about that unintended consequence.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And the final recommendation.
The fourth recommendation calls for a more standardized approach to understanding and measuring living income benchmarks.
Because right now, it's kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah, it's a little bit all over the place. There are all these different methodologies and definitions being used, which makes it really hard to compare living income benchmarks across different regions and even across different commodities.
So it's about getting everyone on the same page.
Yeah.
So that we can really kind of measure and address these hidden costs.
Having that kind of universal framework would be really helpful.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The report really gives us a valuable framework for understanding the true cost of our coffee.
I think so.
And it offers some concrete steps we can take to address the problem.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about acknowledging the complexity, working towards greater transparency, and ultimately making more informed choices about the coffee we buy and consume.
I think that's a great way to put it. Let's talk about these coffee certifications. They're often touted as a way to address some of these very issues we've been discussing.
Yeah, I mean, when I see those labels, Fair Trade, Organic, Rainforest Alliance, UTZ.
There's a lot of them.
I tend to think, okay, this is probably better for the planet or better for the farmers.
Yeah.
But is that always true?
That's a great question.
I mean, it can be a bit overwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah, it can be really hard to keep track of all of them.
They sound good on paper.
Right.
What does the report say about how effective they actually are?
So the report does acknowledge that certifications can have a positive impact.
Okay.
There have been studies that show that certified coffee often fetches a higher price. Okay.
Which can obviously boost farmers' incomes.
Right.
And help to improve their livelihoods.
That's good. That's encouraging, at least.
Yeah, but
there are some caveats.
There are definitely some caveats to consider.
There's always a catch.
Right. So some of the key challenges, one is just the cost of becoming certified can be a major barrier for farmers. If that price premium for certified coffee isn't high enough to offset those costs, then farmers might not actually see
any benefit. The report also points out
that some certifications can actually inadvertently exclude the very farmers they're designed to help.
How so?
So small-scale farmers often lack the resources or the knowledge to navigate the complexities of some of these certification schemes.
I see.
So if the standards are too burdensome, it can end up benefiting larger, more established farms, which isn't really the goal.
Which is not the point. But what about us as consumers? I mean, I think that's the question that's on everyone's mind, right? What difference can I really make?
Right, exactly.
But I think that's a misconception.
Okay.
I think every time we buy a bag of coffee, we're kind of casting a vote for the kind of coffee industry we want to support.
I like that. Voting with our wallets.
Yeah.
But how do we make informed choices when there's so much information and misinformation out there?
Right. Well, the report really emphasizes the importance of what they call informed consumerism.
Okay.
So it's about doing a little bit of research before you just click that add to cart button. Look beyond the brand name, the price tag.
So what kind of information should we be looking for?
Well, look for brands that are transparent about their sourcing practices. Do they work directly with farmers? Do they support initiatives that improve farmer livelihoods? Are they committed to environmental sustainability?
Right. So it's about seeing coffee not just as this commodity, but as a product.
Right.
With a story behind it.
Exactly. Yeah. There are real people.
Yeah.
And ecosystems involved.
Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of people would be willing to pay a bit more if they knew it was making that difference.
Yeah. And that brings us to another really important point. Which is being willing to pay a fair price for sustainably and ethically produced coffee.
Right.
We talked about all those hidden costs.
Right.
The environmental damage, the child labor, the struggle.
Good living wage.
Yeah, for farmers to earn a living wage.
Right.
Those costs aren't reflected in the price of conventionally produced coffee.
So when we go for the cheapest option, we're basically...
We're externalizing those costs onto other people and onto the environment.
Yeah, so by choosing to pay a bit more for that sustainably produced coffee.
Exactly.
We're saying we recognize that true value.
Yeah, you're putting your money where your mouth is, right?
Right, exactly. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that there's so much more to that morning cup of coffee.
It's true.
Than meets the eye.
Yeah.
But with awareness and action, we can help shift the narrative.
I think so.
And support a coffee industry that's better for the planet, better for farmers.
Yeah.
And ultimately better for all of us.
I agree. Cheers to that.
Yeah.